Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This one is going to be in the 8th grade book, section 2.3, so make sure you write that under your unit. This one is on rotations. So our learning intention is to be able to rotate figures in the coordinate plane. You will know you're successful with this when you can identify a rotation. So when you can tell me what kind of rotation it's making, that's what that means. When you can find the coordinates of a figure rotated about the origin, and when you can use coordinates to rotate a figure about the origin. So what is a rotation? So a rotation is a type of transformation that takes each figure or each point in a figure and rotates it a certain number of degrees around a given point called the center of rotation. So the number of degrees a figure rotates is the angle of rotation. So that's like what you're seeing here. So here's our center of rotation. So you're going to rotate it a number of degrees around the given point. So whatever our point is, we're going to rotate it around that point, and that's our center of rotation. And when we do that, whatever that degree is inside of that, that's our angle of rotation. That shows us the number of degrees that we rotated. Okay, so here's a reminder here of what counterclockwise and clockwise means. If you see CCW, that means counterclockwise, and counterclockwise goes in a backwards motion. And clockwise is just CW, and it goes in a forward motion. So clockwise is it means like the direction that a clock goes. It ticks this way, right? Counterclockwise means it's going backwards. And it is very important that you pay attention to whether your rotation is clockwise or counterclockwise. And I'll show you why as we go through the rules of rotation. Okay, so in the rules of rotation, coordinates will change depending on the degree to which it is rotated. So here's different types of rotations. So a rotation of 90 degrees counterclockwise would give you the same formula as a rotation of 270 degrees counterclockwise. Because if I go, say my figure is here, 90 degrees is going to be about here, which is indicated in our picture. This is a rotation of 90 degrees counterclockwise. But if I were to take this image, instead of going backwards 90 degrees, and instead went forward 270 degrees, well, guess what? That's going to take me to the same point, because 270 degrees from the original location is 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, so they will get you the same, which means if your original figure was XY, then you would change the image to negative Y X. So whatever your X was, that becomes your Y. And whatever your Y was, that becomes your X with the opposite sign. So if it was a positive Y, it is now a negative Y in my X spot. Okay? And if it was a negative Y, then it becomes a positive Y in the X spot. So then a rotation of 180 degrees counterclockwise or clockwise, that makes sense, right? Because 180 degrees is the halfway point. So that would take us about here, which if I go this way, it still takes me there. So it doesn't matter which direction you're going, counterclockwise or clockwise, when it's 180 degrees, because it takes you, that means just halfway, right? So if my original figure X, Y, it would then become negative X and negative Y. So whatever my original figure was, we're going to change the signs of the X and the Y. Now we have a rotation of 270 degrees counterclockwise and a rotation of 90 degrees clockwise. So that's kind of what we were talking about here, where we went 90 degrees, then 270, but now we're doing it backwards. So we're saying this is 270 degrees this way, and then this would be 90 degrees this way, okay? And then the original figure XY becomes the image Y negative X. Okay, so let's see if we can catch this in action. So You're going to tell whether the blue figure is a rotation of the red figure. So you're going to tell me, does this, if I were to rotate this up, would that have been a rotation of this figure? If I were to turn this one, would that have been a rotation? If I were to turn this one, would that be a rotation? So you're going to go through and tell me yes or no. And then down here, you're going to draw and label the image of the figure after the transformation. So here's my original figure, and you need to plot the points just like you did when we were doing reflections. So let's do one of these together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So this is 4, 3. This one is 4, 0. And this one is 1, 1. So it says rotation of 270 degrees clockwise about the origin. So let's go back and check what we learned. So if I'm rotating 270 degrees clockwise, that means my original figure of xy becomes negative yx. So negative yx, so that means that my x becomes negative 3, and then my y is 4. My x will stay 0, my y will be 4, my x will be negative 1, my y will be 1. Okay, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we will go 0, 4, negative 1, 1. And now make my lines. And this was my C prime. This was my B prime, and this is my A prime. And so now this is a rotation of this figure 270 degrees clockwise. I went this way, it rotated 270 degrees clockwise, and that's what it looks like. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. Remember, if you don't remember what the original figure changes into for the image, that's why you have the formulas here on the front, so you can see the rules for rotation. So come back here, check to see what am I supposed to change my original figure in to make it an image, and then you can answer these questions here. So this bottom one, it says write the new coordinate of the point. So you're going to have to use those same formulas on the front. So this one says rotate the point negative 8, 5, 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin. Write the new coordinate of the point. So you need to figure out, what does my original point change to, or my original figure's points, they change when I go 90 degrees counterclockwise. So let's see. 90 degrees counterclockwise goes negative y, x. So you'll need to change this to negative y. So negative y, and then x. This should be your image. I'm just going to say I for image. Okay, you try the next two. Let me know if you have questions.